So the things we can't hide from is our own intelligence to like understand certain things about certain things. So once you understand a certain amount of things, you can't run from what you already know. You know what I mean? And you can't run from well, what was that? The other thing that I was going to say, besides running from your own intelligence, you can't run from your memory. Oh yeah, your memory. Like you can remember all them things in your mind of all the experiences you went through. So all that trauma and stuff like this. And the brain remembers when it recalibrates some trauma and say that you cry or whatever. How many times have you cried in your life? So every time that you cry, it gets built up in your memory and your mind remembers it. So the tremendous things that we go through are within the present moment of what takes place. But just say if you remember several times going through it, will that help you out to see if you would be better controlling it? But then there's things where you can make conscious effort to kind of change what happens to us, like the emotional stress or whatever. We could get out of that and know that's not good for us, and realize that we don't have to be that emotionally upset and stuff like this about certain things. But sometimes whatever comes up in the present moment that we're thinking about that could trigger a memory or something, or a certain instance, or a sort of genre of what happened in the present moment. Say your girlfriend slapped you in the face or something, and then you started crying. That would be the present moment of what happens. And you're not going to be thinking of the memory, you're just going to be thinking of the present moment of what that is. But your mind remembers of going through certain trauma and what builds up in trauma. And say if you cry, your mind remembers all the other times that you cried. So it's like a build-up process of certain things, but mostly it's just the present moment, but not like what it is. But it's a certain emotion that is relevant to what we all go through, these certain emotions, you know what I mean, that we all face and we all go through. So what I'm trying to say is that you can't run from your memory and your intellect, the intellect of knowing, you know, if certain things are bad for you, then you got to cut it out of your life. And if certain things are good for you, you got to bring it into your life to make it so that these cause and effects don't happen as a result of not having what you need. These cause and effects, the the bad cause and effects, but there's good cause and effects to make us more happy, more jovial, more clear of mind, and everything like this. So what I'm trying to say is that we all can get together as a team effort to try to like solve certain problems. That's why they have groups to talk about certain experiences, get things off your mind, so you feel better about it, talking to other people about it. If you're not so lone to just go through it all alone, then you're actually venting and processing your information to other people, and it makes a difference because they have the cause and effect of what they could say back, of their knowledge of what might help you out. So it's just, there's so much information in conscious field of like learning and going through the processes of remembering, as well of the relevancy of the informations that you know in the past that are relevant to the informations of now, and so that you can keep learning how to deal with certain situations of any cause and effect, whether good or bad. And it's a sort of category to understand that, you know, I was using that crying as an example, for instance, that we all have a sort of correlation to the pattern of our memory. And if we use crying as an example, how many times have you cried in your life? You can't remember all the times, but somehow our mind remembers familiarity to the situation. And it gets to a sort of degree where it has substance behind the truth of the situations that we go through. And like today, I cried a little bit because I got mad at Sedera yesterday, the ethereal ghost girl. And today, I apologize because I always treat her good, even though that she works through the CIA and she's a ethereal ghost girl. And sometimes she does bad things because the CIA tells her to do bad things. Doesn't mean she's actually bad at heart. And sometimes she does help me out. So I can't. I remembered all that. So that's why I was just going through with something at the present moment, which was making me upset at the time, and that was the cause and effect. But now, my memory kicked in today of all the times that she did good for me. So I got to realize that and sort through what's worth it and what's not worth it for my mental health, and stuff like this. But she hasn't been talking to me as much, but just barely, like minutely, because the CIA is minute right now. And it's just when I really needed help from her, she wasn't there to help me. And it was part of the CIA's little game, but that's when I needed the most help in certain situations. So I was feeling depressed. And sometimes I feel like Silly Sally, the other ethereal ghost girl that's named Silly Sally, she's more sinister in nature, does way more bigger sort of sinister moves that are trying to lower my motivation levels and all that. But Sedera is a little bit more happy-go-lucky when she does things. And what I'm trying to say is that it helps. She helps, but then sometimes she can be like a double-edged sword. She could play with my emotions, and I could get emotionally attached. And then if she just decides to break my heart one day, then I have to go through what that cause and effect is. So, is it worth to keep on turning to Sedera? I think it'd be healthy for when she does talk to me in a good mood and stuff. I can be friends with her and stuff like this. But I should think about my other girlfriends in the past that are in the physical, you know what I mean, that I like to think about that would help me. Their ethereal ghost soul would help me and actually be of benefit because they're not working for the CIA necessarily. So it's just that it's just something I have to deal with. But I just really wish that somehow things would get better in this sort of way. Like I have to do certain routines to keep myself busy to where I don't go through them certain down spirals, because it really sometimes it really tests my will, my strength, and my truth of my being to stand up for the truth and everything, and I always do. But it's it's hard to describe when a lot of things are going kind of awry, you know what I mean? And I just have to maintain my stableness of my thought processes and don't let that ruin my day. If I give into the negative side of what the CIA does, then I'll be down on myself and everything like this. But if I just remain strong and do my due diligence of remembering that they've done this in the past and they played hardball in the past way worse than this. So what I'm going through right now is not as tremendous as the past situations that I've went through before. But that's why my life kind of has a lot of trauma involved with it, because of a lot of things that have been done to me. But anyway, Neo worships Divine Goddess, Divine Goddesses. I hope you're doing amazing. Neo worships Divine Princess, Divine Princesses. I hope you're doing amazing. And remember, the Divine Goddess and Divine Princess are like this, because they're pretty much the same thing. It's just that the archetype of Divine Goddess is like the God seed. Like the Divine Goddess is similar to what God is, like heavenly and everything. And the Divine Princess works through the Divine Goddess works through the Divine Princess in certain situations because they're connected. They're both female. So anyway, yeah, that's just the confusing part about it. But anyway, have a good day, everybody. All of you girls. All right, bye.